Yeah, we have to get Mo on because Ohio. We got two teams in Ohio here.
Yep.
Cautiously optimistic on both. Be honest with you, George, but we got to start with the reigning champs of this division. Baltimore Ravens, 11.5 win total, minus 140 to win the division. AFC, they're plus 300. Super Bowl, they are currently the favorite with the Philadelphia Eagles at plus 650. My handicap is pretty simple, honestly. Lamar and Harbaugh alone, that's 11 wins if Lamar is healthy. Defensively, I think they've made improvements through the draft. They're a team, like we mentioned before, with Arabia. Mo, I love when teams just continue to build on their strength. I saw my team, the New York Giants, fall apart because they tried drafting running backs and receivers and DBs. It's like, no, build on the D-line and the O-line. Keep acquiring assets. Keep building it that way. And this is what Baltimore does. I think the one thing with them is their defense. They have a guy in Kyle Hamilton, which in the beginning of the year, George, if you remember, they were using him like how the Steelers used to use Palomalu, like really close to the line, but that's not how he really flourishes. And then when they backed him up, remember, this was a new defensive coordinator because McDonald became the Seahawks head coach. They were like, yo, you could roam now. And then that's where you saw him really flourish, and the defense kind of turned it around.
Yep.
And I don't really have many holes on this team, man. I really think that they're a team that, they're, like I said, 11 to 12 win team when Lamar is healthy and with Harbaugh. And, you know, the one concern I do have, Mo, the better in me is they're a very trendy Super Bowl pick, right? But I don't think that's wrong. How do you feel about Baltimore?
No, it's not wrong. I can tell you this just from being around winning programs, be it basketball, be it football, be it everything. They've just created a winning culture. And I can't say enough about that. Like, so when you have Lamar, he goes out every season, he's going to perform well, he's going to run well, he's going to throw well. You go ahead and you put King Henry back there, who's used to winning in college, who's used to winning in high school, and he brings just that winning mentality to them. And they get to the door a couple times. And like you said, they build on the strength of their teams. Like, I'm just telling you, like, it's just hard to break that. And when you look at who's in the division and you look at who they're going to come up against, you have they're my team, but you have a losing Browns team, right? And you have a losing culture, and you just have them trying to put the pieces together, and you have the whole circus at quarterback, right? Then you have the Cincinnati Bengals. It's widely known that they don't invest in offensive line. Baltimore's strength is their defense, aside from what you have on offense. And then you have the Steelers, and the Steelers with a 40-year-old quarterback or 41-year-old quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. So it's not hard to see why they'll win the division, in my opinion. And, once you start making it to the postseason and you have that expectation and you have coaches coming in the offseason and they talking about that being a possibility and it becomes real, I can see why they're favored every year. And you have a playmaker in Lamar Jackson and with King Henry who could take you far. So, I don't know. I don't think it's a bad pick by any stretch of the imagination, considering just all that they've created over there in Baltimore.
Nah, for sure, man. And also the other thing is it's so important. You always harp on that, on it is what it is. And just in general, if people follow you on social media, you always talk about that winning culture and culture matters.
Mhm.
And they got that. Like, Harbaugh's been there. Harbaugh and Tomlin are the two longest tenured coaches in the league. They just so happen to be in the same division. And oftentimes I feel like they forget that about Harbaugh because Tomlin's in there.
Yeah.
Right. And they built that culture. And to his point about Derrick Henry, like, running backs over 30, people like to fade them, but he's coming off a monster year. And I think it's only going to get better for him because of how that scheme is with Lamar. It's like, bro, if Henry don't get it, Lamar's going to be running.
Yeah.
And, they add D-Hop. They have Zay Flowers. They got the two tight ends with Andrews and Likely. There's a team that it just comes down to January.
Yeah.
Because last year, Lamar only had 4 interceptions, but then he had 2 really bad turnovers in that playoff game against Buffalo. And everyone remembers Andrews dropping the pass for a touchdown. But I look at it like, there was 70 seconds left. Allen was going to have the ball the way Allen was playing and
It
all
was
year.
inevitable.
Yeah, so just to defend Andrews on that, it's hard to nitpick at them. What do you
I mean, I would just say the lack of depth outside of their superstars would scare me. And this is a team that in the past, like it kind of comes in clusters. Like they have been a team that when it happens, similar to the 49ers last year, it kind of comes in droves. And that's the one thing where I'm like, okay, King Henry goes down. Are we relying in Justice Hill? You have Bateman, Flowers, or DeAndre Hopkins go down, then you're kind of back to like Lamar has Mark Andrews as his number one option. And that's never been a situation in which he's thrived. This team, like you said, they're going to go far. Just solely based on Lamar not winning the MVP trophy last year. I mean, the amount of anger that he has, or that he should have, for being snubbed from that award. I mean, I know it played into your favor and everything, but we both knew it, and you were shocked a couple of days before the award when the odds flipped and they made Josh Allen the favorite. You're like, holy shit, they're actually gonna snub Lamar. So I think you add that factor into it. And this is a team that is a guaranteed playoff spot. Like there's no way around it. I like Malachi Starks for defensive rookie of the year as somebody who's learning underneath Kyle Hamilton that can really, if you're gonna win that award, you're gonna have a leader next to you in that position making you look equally as good. Because they're not going to his side,
right?
So they're going to your side.
And the other thing too. Jair Alexander comes on over.
Mm-hmm.
Humphrey is there. Wiggins. Like they got their secondary is the strength of their team led by Kyle Hamilton. And then what do? They spend a first round pick on Starks.
Yep.
I love that. That's why good teams stay good, bro. They could have easily tried to take a running back and, Henry's 32. Halfway through the year, so I just love it. It's hard to nitpick everything that you and Mo said. I couldn't agree with you guys more. The Ravens, to me, I have them winning this division, and I have them at 12-5. I really think that, Mo, we always talk about this on the show, like in the betting standpoint. It's like, man, get cute elsewhere, right? Like sometimes it's so obvious who the winner is going to be, and I feel that way about Baltimore. It's like, let's get cute in the NFC North. Or in the AFC South. We don't got to get cute here. Here it's like, it's a 12-win team with Lamar at the helm. So that's how I feel about that. Let's go to one of the Ohio teams. It's the Bengals. Ready for this? I think Joe Burrow throws 60 touchdowns this year, and they win 6 games. That's my prediction. Because, bro, they're 9.5 win total, division plus 250, AFC 9-1, Super Bowl 20-1. I think they're one of the most incompetent franchises in the NFL. Yes. They reached on a first round pick, and then they didn't want to pay him, and there was crazy loopholes in the contract. He was threatening to go back to school. Hendrickson grew up a Bengals fan. His dream was to play for the Bengals, wants to take a team-friendly deal, but the team-friendly deal that they're offering him is like, bro, let's not get crazy. Listen, I know you're my squad, but I ain't taking that much of a friendly deal. I'm not trolling. I really think Burrow could break the touchdown record this year, and they win 6 games because defensively, they might be the worst defense in the league. Offense might be the best in the league. Their offensive line got worse, and it was already bad. And then their defense can't make any stops, Maurice. And ready for this? You know who I almost gave it away. But you know who Joe Burrow reminds me of? Tony Romo. The play style, everything.
No, but this is history, man. I've been in Ohio the vast majority of my life, right? And the Bengals, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's how the money gets divvied up and ownership just doesn't care. I don't know who's basically calling the shots. But when you have a generational talent with Mr. Burrow, right, and you have the makings of somebody who you can build around and probably bring players in who probably wouldn't normally want to be in Cincinnati, and you would want to build your line because you've given him this massive contract and put these assets around him. And also, go from what other teams do, to invest inside of defensive players to limit the number of touchdowns that can be scored on you. The Bengals just don't get it right. And when you're in Ohio, you just hear all the backstories that ownership just doesn't care. Just the way that they treat players, just even former players talking about who's played there, of just how they feel about the way the program is ran. It just ran like shit. And that's why you have these situations. That's why you have your quarterback all banged up all the year. That's why you just can't catch your stride or just basically be in the conversation of saying, hey, these guys can compete for the division title. And instead, we've made a story out of Joe Burrow and all of his potential of what he could be versus going on another Super Bowl run like they did before in the past by assembling the pieces and doing what you said that Baltimore did, build on the strengths. And so I'm thankful that the Bengals keep messing up, keeps giving Cleveland a chance to be better than them, even though I know that they probably won't because they can't figure the quarterback situation out. But that's my opinion on the Bengals. The Bengals just are a struggling franchise who has a superstar quarterback and two superstar receivers. So that's my take on them.
Yeah. That's one of the few situations in the league. I mean, I guess you could kind of point the Cowboys in that direction too, where it's like my favorite type of college teams where the defense could be shit, but you guys are going to put up 45 points and 35 points and you're going to have all the numbers in the world to contend. I thought Chase Brown last year was actually pretty solid too, like a person that replaced that Joe Mixon type style and being able to carry the team in meaningful games, December, January. Offensive line I got questions about, and to piggyback on all the shitty things that the Bengals do, I still will never forget the AFC Hard Knocks episode and the way that their meeting room looked compared to every other team in the division, and it looked like a middle school auditorium. And it was etched in my head forever. And this Trey Hendrickson situation, I mean, it's just a good test case as to how not to handle situations like this when your defense isn't good. Like, give us some hope.
Yeah, I'm always on the show talking about how quarterback wins and losses are not quarterback stats. I think for Burrow they are, because like this is a 3-win team without him.
Yeah,
and I might be generous.
Yeah,
like he's carrying them, and the one thing, Maurice, that has changed for me the most as a fan is like understanding how hard it is to win. I used to be like, bro, he don't got a ring, he ain't shit. And like as I got older, I'm understanding the business side of it. I'm understanding that like, all right, I'm the star quarterback. But if Maurice and George aren't playing and they're the second and third highest paid on the team, it's like, well, next guy up. No, next guy is not making $42 million. So it's not next guy up. I don't want to hear that shit. That's one of the arguments that always drives me crazy. And that's what I'm seeing with the Bengals and Burrow. It's like, look, I've been looking at 20-1 to win the Super Bowl. Because if they do make the playoffs, he's won in Buffalo. He's won in Kansas City. He lights up the Ravens every year. Every game that they play, he goes 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. They scored 42 points and lost last year. So he played. It's a familiar foe. So maybe that's the angle. You take them to miss the playoffs. You take their under 9.5 wins, but then you also sprinkle on the Super Bowl, because if he does throw for 60 touchdowns and legit carries them, then George holding 20-1, you feel good about that. That's from a betting standpoint.
For sure.
Now, I really do think they're a 7-win team, and he throws for 50 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But what difference is this year going to be from last year? I just don't see it.
Yeah.
So just
go ahead.
No, just think about what we're talking about in comparison to what we just talked about with the Ravens. You're talking about winning culture. You're talking about adding on to the team. You're talking about Super Bowl contention. Like the same things that we see, hear, and feel is the same thing that those guys see, feel, and hear in the locker room.
Yep.
And imagine if you're just walking into that. You know what I'm saying? Just mentality, mindset. Like we're not forming an opinion about the Bengals that the Bengals don't have internally. And you're talking about guys getting up and going to work in that environment. You know what I'm saying? Where literally the only story about the Bengals is all of Joe Burrow's potential versus, man, we have these assets on defense. Like we still fucking arguing about contracts week one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so when I talk about just losing programs and losing mentalities and losing cultures, that comes from dumbass owners and dumbass general managers. And that stuff seeps into the culture and it ruins the experience and it ruins guys' careers because somebody above them can't get it right. And I'm like, the barometer that I'm using is what we started out, all of us talking about Baltimore and the expectations of that. And then you're talking about all the pieces that it's going to take to get to the Super Bowl versus like just this Joe Burrow story that keeps them interesting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nah, I couldn't agree with you more. I really think it's that. And it's so true. Like the structure and the culture in one team is non-existent in the other. And sometimes it comes down to that. And I really do. Look, I think the Bengals, I have them at where is it? 8-9. They're 8-9. You know, I'm gonna give Burrow the 2 wins that he has no business winning. And then, like, you know, last thing on them. And again, the reason why we're spending so much time on them is they're so popular. They didn't really beat anyone good last year either. And not for nothing, like Burrow, there's a 3rd and 6 where if he could pick up a first down and the guy's wide open, he tries to make a crazy play and against the Chiefs, and then they lose with the no call, the 4th and like 30, whatever it was. And then against Philly, he didn't play well. Right, costly interception in one of the Ravens games. So it's like, now how do you nitpick a guy that threw 40 plus touchdowns?
Yeah.
With everything that we're saying, it's just a lot for him to try to overcome, and I just don't see it this year. Like I said, they're 8-9 8-9 team. Pittsburgh.
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, Maurice loves
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
ayahuasca and the enigma that is Aaron Rodgers. 8.5 win total, 6-1 to win the division, 25-1 to win the AFC Super Bowl. They're 50-1. You know what? You lead us off because for me, my biggest question mark is what is Aaron Rodgers in 2025? So what do you think he is?
I think in 2025, this is away from what a New York media wave can present to you. And honestly, you were the one that started to lean me into being convinced about the Steelers in the middle of the summer when you said, "Oh, George, I watched Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers highlights from last year." And he still kind of fucking got it. Like he still makes throws every single week that NFL quarterbacks wish that they can make. And when you have a head coach that I think can honestly rein, his craziness in and rein his ego in, you add a crazy wide receiver with DK Metcalf. I'm hopeful that this team can buy into running the ball first, which I think is what they're going to do with their new running back that they got out of Iowa on top of Jalen Warren. Mm-hmm. And I think that they're going to get back to like the Pittsburgh Steelers win in the ways that they did when they had Big Ben and Jerome Bettis. And it was we controlled the time of possession. We're smarter than you. I'm putting a lot of my trust into what I would consider Mike Tomlin's genius. And Maurice, I don't know if you knew this, but I mean, it shocked me that Coach Tomlin's never won a Coach of the Year award. What better of a year to have him win Coach of the Year, Aaron Rodgers win his 5th MVP. That's all I'm saying. I think that there's a path here. There's a path.
Well, I won't go as far as to say he's going to win MVP, but I'm drinking the Kool-Aid of him basically having a good season. And the reason I'm saying it, it slightly lives in the same realm that you're talking about when you say being in Pittsburgh versus being in New York. One good thing is that I haven't seen him that much in the offseason in the media personally, right? So that was like a good thing for me with him, right? Mm-hmm. That means to tell me that somebody told him to come to Pittsburgh, focus on the football, and just like keep the main thing, right? And then when you think of Pittsburgh and when you think of Green Bay, these are 2 towns and 2 cultures and 2 football-rich places that I think that just may I don't know, just make him feel special and make him feel like it's all about football again and takes away from the social life that, bigger cities may bring to you. You know what I'm saying? That stuff that he was doing with Pat McAfee and the stuff that he was doing, or just the personality he was in New York, like that stuff is stuff that he can wait to do after football is done. But for the reasons just based on the placement, I'm not even talking about the players on the team, the placement of him being in Pittsburgh and me growing up in Northeast Ohio and Pittsburgh is about a 30-minute ride from each other. I can just see him falling in love with the game. This thing is a quarterback friendly league, and just the culture that Mike Tomlin has put with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he's going to have a great year, a lot better than what he did in New York.
Yeah. Well, how high are you on the?
Yo,
on the
I'll
Steelers?
be honest. I updated my notes. I gave him one more win. You guys swung me. Listen, I'm not married to my thoughts and my opinions. I'm into conversation. Now he brings up a good point about Pittsburgh and Green Bay, right?
Yeah.
Like it's really a football
Similar
town.
cities.
Yeah, and for him, maybe it is the last dance, right? Like how many more years is he have? And the reason, Mo, I always felt like Pittsburgh was such a layup for him to go is because he can't pull the fuckery he did with Salah and the Jets in Pittsburgh.
No.
Because Tomlin is there, and Tomlin's gonna be like, bro, we're not messing with that. Like he can't collapse the organization. Now, can he collapse the organization from his performance? Sure, but the antics of because they already shut it down. Yeah, I want to bring in Alan Lazard. Good luck.
Right.
We ain't doing that. No, we're not doing that. And that's what they did. They were like, yo, bro, listen, we're putting our foot down, and you want to come be a Pittsburgh Steeler? We're going to do it our way. And and I like it from that standpoint. Their defense, very, very expensive, kind of getting up there in age. I like Slay. I like Jalen Ramsey. Wrong side of 30 now for those guys. Hayward just popped up with contract issues. They paid him last year. TJ Watt, 31. He just got paid. Justifiable contracts, but I think their offense might be worse than it was last year, and last year was bad. You got Freiermuth, you got DK Metcalf, who DK Metcalf, awesome receiver. Mo, there's way too many times where I'm watching Seahawks games in the past, and I'm like, yo, is he even playing?
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all. Like, if he's not getting the ball, he don't even block. Like, he's a guy that completely gets checked out of games. And that's my big concern with them, because last year they were a one-trick pony as far as George Pickens, and now it's just DK Metcalf. So that's where I'm a little concerned.
I do like the combination better. All the reports in the offseason have said that the relationship between DK Metcalf and Aaron Rodgers is a positive one. It's almost like DK Metcalf, I don't know if it's just been the colored hair, but he's always given me Dennis Rodman vibes, where he's just like the oddball that, the show's about him.
Yeah.
Him eating Skittles as a professional athlete and broadcasting it when he's like, you're getting paid millions, bro. Like, let's upgrade to steaks and avocados. Let's start seeing all the food groups, not just all the colors. So he's always been an oddball to me, but I think it's two oddballs that understand each other. Like the two weirdos that finally work it out. That's the vibe that I get from him. And so I think this will be the most productive version of DK Metcalf that we've seen.
Yeah, I can see that. Oh, what else you
I'm
got?
just telling you. Yeah, just like Northeast Ohio, Western Pennsylvania, this is like a blue collar area. So all of that, West Coast free living, wild, crazy,
Colored hair.
superstar vibe. Yeah, just the stuff you get in bigger cities where you have more cultures that's accepting of it. Like you will be looked at as weird out here. It's like straight old school blue collar factory living Midwest. Like that's what a lot of our area is. You know what I'm saying? So they're stepping into that, and that's where I say if you don't have anybody to come to the clown show, you're not going to be a clown. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of stuff I say with Aaron Rodgers, but the same thing with DK Metcalf. He's not about to walk around Pittsburgh like that and just move like that. He'll be like, yo, bro, that's not what we do. We're here to play football, old school, strap on your cleats, strap on your boots. The same thing with Jalen Ramsey. All that over the top shit, like you're here to play football, bro. But I think, Nick, you made a great point when you first said, the way he went out and with the Jets, he didn't want to be remembered as that because he's a legend. He's a living legend in the game of football. And I think he might have sat back to himself and said, man, fuck that. I don't want to leave this game with those performances or people remembering me that last way. And I want to go out on top. And I think there's a pride within that I think that he'll just perform well. So I've talked shit about him in the past, but I'm actually wishing him well because, I do want to see him go out the way that, legends are supposed to go out.
Nah, I'm with you, man. I think, that I like to look at athletes sometimes, Maurice, and look at like their best 5 years. Bro, 2011 to like 2016 Rodgers. You're talking about like 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
Yeah.
And just insane. Like him and Jordy Nelson he was doing crazy stuff. Let's end with the last team in Ohio, the Cleveland Browns. Win total 4.5, division 35-1, AFC 100-1, Super Bowl 200-1. Defensively, it's going to be their strength, obviously, right? The defensive line, and then Myles Garrett. Jerry Jeudy, I think, is going to ball out because there's not much behind him. So I think he could get like 160 targets. This is going to sound crazy. 2 years ago, Joe Flacco led this team to the playoffs with Stefanski. They just announced him as a starter. Now, I don't think he plays the whole year. I think ideally they're clearly in a rebuild, but they play him a little bit, they struggle, then they turn to Gabriel or Sanders, whichever of the two they prefer, whoever's doing better.
Right.
Njoku's probably going to be a top 5 tight end for fantasy football folks because him and Flacco played really well. And I think this team is going through a complete rebuild unless Stefanski and the front office actually wanted Gabriel and Sanders. I think this could be the last dance for Stefanski if they do clean house.
Oh, for sure.
With starting Joe Flacco. Not much. I think rightfully so. Long shot, probably last in this division. I just found it interesting, Maurice, that Joe Flacco is starting at 38 years old and this team made the playoffs with him 2 years ago.
Man, this is horrible, man. This is a reality show. It's good entertainment, man. I'm a Browns fan. I'm like a diehard, grew up a Browns fan, love everything about the Browns. But my Browns, this is just a reality show, man. The same thing that you all been watching on TV with the Shador spectacle. That's basically what we've been getting in state, right? They can't figure the running back situation out. They haven't signed my guy Quinshawn Judkins from Ohio State.
That's crazy.
You can't figure that piece out. Yeah, and you just have a defense that kind of holds you all into this. Even Miles, he didn't want to be around until they dropped his ass $20 million more a year. So it's like, you stay for the money. It's not like you stay for the organization because you were tired of losing. But that's what you have, man. You just have like an organization that I don't think that they're going to win more than 8 games. I don't know if it'll be low as 4, but I don't see them winning more than 8. You have a great defense that had a bunch of potential, but they just could not put it together for whatever reason. I don't know what they're going to do with the quarterback situation. I know Shador's entertaining. Shador is just like a reality show, but I always go back to what I said in the beginning and what you all started talking about with Baltimore. When we started talking about Baltimore, it was they were building on the strengths. We talking about going to the playoffs. We talk about how dynamic they were as a team, and that's. And then when you get to the rest of the division, we're talking about like the entertainment of Rodgers, Joe Burrow as a thing, and then now for Cleveland, it's just the Shador versus Dylan Gabriel show, and the defense who will be calling older next year. So my guys, but they ain't about to do shit this year.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I never like when an organization struggles to sign their draft picks like that.
It's terrible.
Especially
a solid running back like that. Like he would have figured out a good deal of, what this offense can do, at least start to develop some sort of identity.
But also like how we started, and not only is Maurice from Ohio and I wanted him for the AFC North, it was calculated because I know he was going to bring up the winning culture because he always harps on that. And it's true, right? Like you want to build something promising and something where like the players kind of police it themselves. Like, we're not going to act this way. We got a game tomorrow kind of thing, right?
Right.
So you look at how teeter-totter everything is in the division. And that's why there's stability with the Ravens. And then with the Bengals, it's like, well, we got this great quarterback, but it's fuckery everywhere else. And then now with Cleveland. And I think it just sets a bad precedent, bro, for your team and then other players getting drafted. And how Mo said, like, Cincinnati's becoming an attractive destination because of the quarterback. But then also, if you have an option to go elsewhere, you're like, I ain't trying to do all that.
Facts.
Fucking middle school auditorium for a meeting room and all that shit. And they got the worst like catering in the league. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So that all plays into it. So overall, for me, Ravens 3-4 games better than everyone in the division. I got them at 12-5. Steelers 9-8. You guys swung me on that. So if they go 8-9, I'm gonna blame you guys for ruining my record there. I got the Bengals at 8-9, and then I got the Browns. I'm gonna go 6-11.
I'm going
6-11.
Steelers 12-5, shocking the AFC. Ravens at 11-6. Bengals will somehow find a way to get to 10 wins. They're going to be 10-7, and then the Browns, I have them at 5-12 with Shedeur staying a part of the team. And Mo, I don't know if you had already told Nick what your feelings on Shedeur were, but like, do you feel like he is a competent quarterback and can help the Browns in the future, or is it just a show? Because I honestly just want to know your take on Shedeur.
Yeah, my take on him is I would scratch all this other shit that people are doing. One, I'm a businessman, so his ass will be in there because he's going to bring people out. If you're from Ohio, he has the impact from a football standpoint the same way that LeBron had it when he was here from a basketball standpoint. You have everybody throughout the state who just wants to see this kid do something, right? And so when we're going to look at a season, I would say, fuck it. Like, he's going to put people in he's going to put people in the seats. And can I get him enough real-time experience and put him in safe positions, right? To basically build the culture or build, what we can do here. One thing I'll say about this, he's a winner and he has energy. I don't give a fuck what you're doing. The attitude of winning, getting players excited about playing football, players knowing that there's people coming to watch that because of him sort of having like this energy and this aura about him, I would build around it. And when you see him go out there and he had a solid performance, and I know it was against some 2s and 3s in the preseason, I would be building on that, man. That's no offense to Dylan Gabriel, that's no offense to Joe Flacco, and that's no offense to Kenny Pickett. But as a businessman, you would want to see people come through Ohio, be happy about coming here. Maybe he may gauge the interest and become the new Joe Burrow to attract talent that wants to play with him, right? That's my opinion on him. Like, is he some blazing quarterback that's about to go out here and do the same thing that Aaron Rodgers did? No. But do I think he has enough to keep people interested in the brand of Cleveland football? Yes. And do I think he has the personality to go out here and be a community man? Yes. So I think that being his name, who he is, and Dion being his father, and they can make it bigger than what it is, yes, I would play on all of that. But I still don't think, even if Shador's in there, that they go out here and win 12 or 13 games or even have a shot at winning the division. But I would be building it for business and also for the future.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, I got
agree
nothing to add to that. I couldn't agree more.
And I'm glad to know what the sentiment in Ohio is right now. I like, if they're playing into it or if they're like fed up with it, because it is over the top.
I tell you like this: if y'all came here, I wish that I know y'all going to a Bengal. One, I'm happy to host y'all when y'all come here. I'm actually gonna look forward to that.
Oh yeah.
And I'll get y'all VIP experience the whole time y'all come here.
Yeah.
But I wish that y'all can actually see how people feel about him in Ohio. Like, he's an excitement. Like, when LeBron was here, LeBron was bigger than life. And so people would get dressed and come all over the state just to go to regular season games. And this could be like a fucking game 32, you know what I'm saying, in the middle of fucking December, playing Joe Blow. People were still going to the games and they're excited about it. And so just all of the stuff from Jackson State to Colorado to Dion being current and relevant, and to Shedeur with the Heisman Trophy, and then them feeling like he got snubbed to be in the draft. Like, this is an underdog culture. And so that's the culture, the blue collar culture that's driving his fan base here. And y'all, I don't know if y'all see it, but he does a lot of community work here. He's out and about and talking to high school kids. And, there was a big apartment complex that had burnt down, and he went out there and was playing football with the kids. And yeah, so like, he's just, and he's a likable kid, you know what I mean? And so Cleveland needs that. Cleveland doesn't need, like, Joe Flacco wasn't Aaron Rodgers. We don't need that. I wish that they would just go and say, "Hey, Shador, we're going to build around you, and Kenny, you'll be his not Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, you'll be his backup, and that's what we're going to do." But I don't own the team.